assume that every now and then you have a touch of mom guilt.
Oh gosh.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with that?
Y'all help me with this because, just as recent as trying to fly here to Dallas. My original flight was, I think, 12. And then my husband said, I need you to re-record your song. So we had to go to the studio. So I pushed my flight back to 7:40. So I'm trying to get to the studio and get home to pack. And my kids are coming in and out of the room. And I'm trying to pack. So I get out the door. And my daughter FaceTimes me and says, Mommy, you didn't say bye. Oh. Well, I get to the airport. I missed the flight. And I get on the 11:55 flight. So I check the bags. I'm going, good. I can go home and spend some time with the kids. Well, I go home and crash. And my kids come in. And I'm delirious, but I'm trying to spend time with them. Because I'm like, you're about to leave again. And then I get to the airport and the flight's delayed an hour. And so it's just like, what is your life, Erica? Who are you? And I reprimand myself a lot. I beat Erica. Nobody can talk about Erica better than I can. Yeah. You suck right now, Erica.
But it's the truth. It's the truth. Those tapes in our hair, that's real.
Yeah. But then God is so gracious. My son will call my phone and go, I love you, Mommy. I hope you're doing good. Was your show good today? Call me. Oh. And it just, warms my heart. Now, we were just on vacation. I have this week, and then they're coming with me next week. But the enemy has a way of making me feel bad for the work that I do. It causes me to pay attention. So I know that I have to FaceTime a little bit more. I know I have to make sure that I'm listening and not just barking orders. Clean your room. Did you do this? Did you take your vitamins? Instead of doing, how was your day? What did you do? What did you like? Was that fun? What movie did you watch? So I kind of do that just to kind of get them talking, so they're used to talking to Mommy as opposed to me just talking to them. And it's the best moments ever because their personalities are so different, but they're so adorable. And especially I get to kind of... she needs a few spankings. I think she got saved when we went to Israel.
I met Jesus in
Israel. We went to the tomb and we took communion, and she was sitting there on her daddy's lap with her hands folded, and I was like, she's saved. Yes, let's go dunk her in the Jordan over here. We got her, Jesus. Yeah, because this is the child. It says, do you want to share with Mommy? Nope. Why? You don't want to share with Mommy? Nope, because it's mine. And then she pointed to it was candy. Fine.
Well, if that's an indication of salvation, then none of my kids are saved. We have a lot of work to do at my house.
Okay, what is the biggest lesson that you've learned in marriage that you think is useful for other women, but they don't really want to hear about it?
I think it should be related to sex.
Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you. Let's talk
being honest about what you like and what you don't like, and what you want and what you don't want. Communicating honestly from a place that allows you to not just go with the flow. And I think there's a lot of...
You're so discreet. That was such a discreet word. Are we still talking about sex?
I know. I think there's a lot of unsatisfied.
So you're not just going with the flow. You need to have enthusiastic.
She likes to talk about sex.
I think it's important. I think there are a lot. I think there's a lot of married women who are just there. They don't enjoy it. They're just like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
They don't look forward to it. They're rolling their eyes like, oh God, okay.
Yeah, here we go. And I think there's
sleep all
some
the way in
seasons
the corner of the bed. Don't touch me. Please don't put that toe here on me. Okay.
Because a toe can be an indication.
The toe is an indication.
That's always an indication. It's always an indication.
The toe is always an indicator. So Jesus. Sometimes I scoot all the way to the right, but we've kind of built this conversation where we're honest.
Because seasons of life change.
Yeah.
There are certain seasons where, like when you're nursing, you're just like, oh no, please don't. And then you feel differently if you're starting to creep into menopause. You feel differently. In certain times of the month, you feel differently.
Yeah.
And so it's like a real thing.
I tell my husband, now let's look at the calendar. Okay, we know I'm untouchable this week. Okay, and the week after, I need to kind of get my mind right. But these 2 weeks are yours. Have at it. You know what I mean?
Okay, this is a new schedule. The Shires have a new schedule. Oh my gosh. This is the week I'm untouchable. This is the week I need to get my life together.
Right. But right
these
here,
2 weeks.
Listen.
But what if you happen to be traveling, then he just stuck out?
Then we can
I
make
don't know if
adjustments
I
to the
can-
schedule.
We can make adjustments to the travel schedule.
I'm trying
but
to
see,
help her
her ministry events are planned 6 months, 8 months, a year in advance.
But
so.
you know what? Sometimes he'll just take a plan if it, you know, if it gets, you know, to a certain
You can have
point.
booty calls in marriage, basically. Can I just say that? I mean, because communication runs both.
Circle, ladies and gentlemen.
Look, communication runs both ways.
That's
'Cause, I mean, here's the other
Yeah.
side of it. The other side of it is, I mean, that you enjoy it.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? And then maybe he's traveling or he's busy.
But
And you're
both of
like,
them-
dude,
yeah.
hello?
Right.
Can I take a plane to you?
Right.
Or when you get home, I'll be ready. I mean, we've had those conversations. So, I mean, communication
Yes, absolutely.
is both ways about everything, about
Yeah.
this issue and everything. But I think it's like what you're saying. I think we get married. I want it to be the good wife.
Yeah.
And there are anticipated roles that we think we're supposed to slip into in the kitchen,
Yeah.
with the kids, with the house, in the bedroom, whatever. And then you realize this role don't fit. Or it doesn't
like
fit
it.
this year, or it
Yeah.
doesn't fit this season, and you have to tell them.
Yeah.
Or else they won't know.
Here's what I know for sure. Growing up in church, sex was never the conversation. You learn not to do it, don't
Yes.
do it, don't do it.
It's
and
a
you get
no-no.
married and you're supposed to know
Right.
everything. So most people,
It's
and
still a
forgive
no-no
me,
in marriage.
no, for when you get married, you reference videos.
Yes.
Some people reference pornography.
Right, 'cause that's
or
all
they
they
talk
know
to
about.
their safe gay friend because they don't want anybody to think that they're
Right.
filthy. And so you get all this information that doesn't fit God's design for
Right.
the beauty
Right.
of what he wants you to enjoy. And so you have information. I mean, I know some Christian women were like, we're going to hire a stripper to, you know, teach us some stuff. I said, so let me get this right.
You're gonna bring a random.
You're going to bring a random
Right.
chick who does not love God, who does not understand the beauty of this union that God created to show you some stuff.
Yeah.
I think
But they
it's-
don't have a
They have no
because we don't
reference
talk
point.
about it in church.
Yeah.
Then we have to go outside of God's people to understand the beauty of something that's God given, and that's not how it
This
should
might
be.
be your new ministry. Because you seem
I
to be-
had my conference More Than Pretty, and
Yes.
it was so hard searching for
Yeah.
a Christian sex therapist.
Yeah.
Someone who understood God's perspective and knew how to really understand the body and how we are and the you know, just the chemical things that happen that stop and inhibit the things from your past, the preconceived ideas that you have that can kind of keep you from really enjoying. I'm talking about for married
Yeah,
women,
married women.
people that can really enjoy
Gotta
and
be married.
gotta be married, gotta put a ring on it. But really be satisfied, you know, and understand that men's needs are different. You know, I mean, if God made anything better, he left it in heaven. So, I mean, why not be as well educated as we can so we have healthy relationships? Not that, okay, we pray together and we got our 401k and we have our, you know, retirement
Everything
We talk
plans.
about everything
well
else.
thought out,
Everything,
but we
yeah,
don't,
the
right.
kids' college funds, but you don't talk about your intimacy and your connectedness. Is that a word? Did I just make
yeah,
that up?
No, that's
Did I
good.
just
That's a
design
good
this?
word. That's a good word.
Making sure that you do desire them, that you do look at them, that you, when you're not there, you think about them and you want to call them, and you know what I mean. That has to exist, but it has to be developed. It's not automatic just because you got married. I
It's
remember
not like the movies.
it's not like the
No.
movies. My mom told me, she said the night she got married, she was in a beautiful negligee in the bathroom, terrified. She was
Yeah.
so do I. She said she was like trying to pose, just trying to.
Yeah.
Oh, that looks
so
stupid.
cute.
Wait, that looks stupid. And you know, she wasn't a virgin when she got married, but still,
She
she didn't have that
yeah.
level of comfort
Yeah.
or anybody to talk to. Now, nowadays we have social media, so people are meeting a legitimate need an illegitimate way.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't, you know, and I love people, and I know people do what they do, but I don't feel like I have to watch R&B videos
Yeah.
in order to please my man. I don't feel like that should be my source.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a Christian sex thing. So you kind of have to kind of figure it out.
I'm feeling like you might have.
Girl, look, Priscilla's good for giving you a ministry.
But you know what? I was
God
like, people are
told
gonna
me
think
about
I'm
you.
like weird. Because I started when I first started More Than Pretty, I was like, they're gonna think I'm weird. They're gonna think I'm
No.
nasty. Then people are gonna be looking at
Some-
me funny, and
some might.
preachers gonna be like,
No.
"Bring your conference to my church."
But you know what? Even if there are some who do, it is a need that a lot of people will be looking at you and saying, "Oh my gosh, thank you."
Okay, can you give her a second to say what More Than Pretty is? Because
Yes.
I think a lot
Okay.
of people
Yes.
know exactly what this conference is.
So More Than Pretty was a conference designed to talk about Christianity and sexuality. I have 7 sisters. I have a big circle of girlfriends, and we would have conversations. And in the church, our group, we had something called YWCC, Young Women's Christian Council, and they would talk about everything. They would talk about the desires that you have and the little urges that you get. They talked about masturbation. They talked about premarital sex. They talked about all these things that equipped us with information. So by the time I was 17, I was pretty curvy and I wasn't active at all, but I walked past this usher and she said, she's probably having sex. And it crushed me because I was like, did I look did I walk a certain way? Did I, do I got a demon and I don't know it? Like, why would she say that about me? And I was so hurt that she would imply that about me. And so I started looking at myself differently because I was like, I guess something's on me and I don't know it. And so I started to define myself based on that woman's words. And then it happened again because I had a boyfriend and I wasn't, I was scary. You kiss too long and I go, let's pray, we're gonna go to hell. You know what I mean? You're like, I don't want to kiss you no more, But you grow and then, things happen and you experience things and so you take it as a slash toward who you are. I owned the mistakes that I made. I would own,
You wore them.
Yeah, I wore them. And so I realized that I was more than that, and that God's forgiveness and grace covered even that. And so I started to want to be a full and complete woman. This is somewhere in my 20s. So, fast forward to being married, people would always, because I would have these kind of conversations with young friends and young married women, young singles, and they would go, you should really do something with this. And especially because I was deemed the pretty one. What does that mean? But, she's the pretty one. Tina's this, and this friend is this, and this is the smart one. And she's the educated one, and she's the pretty one. And I felt like that was an insult. I was like, that's not, that doesn't make me feel right.
That there's nothing more to me
than the outside. And so I figured if I felt that way, there were other girls that felt that way. And so I didn't know what in the world I was doing. I just put this one event together and about 300 and something women showed up. We had a panel, we had a married panel, so we had Devon Franklin and his wife, me and my husband, another married couple, and then we did a singles panel. One was from church, one was not. And I wanted them to speak honestly. And when we finished, there were so many women that were just going, thank you. I learned something about myself that I did not know because no one's ever talked about this. You just hear don't. And if you do, you're this. And so you have to get forgiveness and you just have to restrain. And you don't, I just think that it's okay to find out why God created sex. Why did he make us these sexual, physical beings? What was the reason for my curves? Like, I don't think the devil gave me this skin that I'm in. God gave it to me. And if he did, why? And I want to know why. And I want to be able to help young girls who have thoughts and feelings even as young as 12 years old. And all they think is I'm nasty and I can't say anything. So you live, and so the enemy lives in this private party and he's talking to you about you and you see things that trigger. And so these desires are rising in you and no one's addressing it. They just say, don't do it. We've got to have this conversation because young girls are getting pregnant and having abortions and boys are doing certain things and they're just leaving the church because they feel like, I can't really, I can't, I'm just wrong. I'm just all kinds of wrong. And sometimes it's not that you are a mistake, you made a mistake, and there's grace for that. And there should be information that comes with that conversation. And so
I love all of that, and I love your passion.
Yeah, that's really great.
I mean, it just rises up out of you. I love that.